Hi everyone and welcome back to SunBurst Tarot, where today we're going to be taking a look at Watcher. So Watcher TV, or the Watcher Network, is a network here on YouTube that was run by, what is it, Ryan Bergara, Shane Madej, and Stephen Lim, three individuals who came from BuzzFeed and then started up their own company called Watcher, which has popular shows such as Puppet History, Not Worth It, that's coming up apparently, Mystery Files, Ghost Files, and Too Many Spirits are ones that kind of come to my mind. So they announced last week, as of time of recording, that they were moving completely off the platform, leaving YouTube to start their own TV streaming service. This was met with a lot of backlash by their community, and then as of when I'm recording this on April 22nd, they have released a follow-up video saying that they will be keeping their content and then having their streaming platform be a platform where early access to videos, but they will still be out on YouTube. So what I wanted to take a look at is kind of leading up to this whole situation. I want to look at Stephen, Brian, and Shane, look at them all individually, look at them as a collective, and kind of just get who is behind this decision, what's going on, were there investors involved, as well as just what is their channel moving forward? Like, did this video of them leaving YouTube destroy their career here on YouTube? So without further ado, let's get into the cards, see what we can see, and go from there. So I'm going to shuffle here really quick. And just really quick notes, remember, everything I'm going to be saying here today is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only. No facts here, just my opinions. I'm just reading cards, psychic downloads, and the such. So that's kind of where I'm coming from here with it. My intention is to just help the audience at large understand the situation from a different perspective using tarot and seeing what we can get from it to help form our own thoughts, opinions, and conclusions. If you don't want to take or have my opinions go with yours, you don't have to help form your own. So yeah, that's all I think I got. And yeah, so I'm also very curious about everything that's been going on with them, as I do have a background in working with startups. I worked for startups and with startups from like a support place. So seeing Watcher and knowing their history kind of leading up to it, I'm very intrigued to see, because I don't believe it's just Shane. Oh my goodness gracious. Ryan, Shane, and Stephen. I don't believe it's just those three that have a hand in what happens at Watcher, which is kind of what is going on with the Try Guys, where it's more like the four guys originally were kind of like the CEOs or bosses of the whole company, and where here, and they owned it all themselves. Here, I don't believe Ryan and Shane and Steven own it completely, if I remember correctly, because they had to go looking for investors when they first started off to hit things off. So I have some unique perspectives and potentially some things that I'm going to look at. So first things first. Oh my goodness, long-winded. So let's take a look. So general energy with the whole thing. One, it's miscommunication, verbal blunders at the center of this whole debacle. So interesting. I mean, we've all seen the video. I'm assuming you've seen the video. There were blunders. People apparently were misspeaking, but it's also, I'm feeling tone deaf as well. Direct influences on the situation, 9 of Pentacles reversed. So there is a loss of finances here. So I do believe, when they said they were concerned about how are we going, like, keeping the doors open, I see that as a direct influence. there is an issue with money behind the scenes with them. Loss of finances. I'm also wondering if there's a project that they went full in on, but they had to scrap as well, it feels like. So it's like something didn't pan out, but they put a lot of money behind it, and then it didn't pan out how they wanted it to, or they had to scrap it completely, is what this feels like. There. Okay. Financial influences. 3 of Cups, disharmony. This could also be just like a breaking of friendships. So when it comes to financial influences on kind of this video, there definitely feels like there was some clashing when it came to how are we promoting it, how are we talking about it. This is really interesting and in the perspective of when they were talking. I know it sounded very scripted. The video sounded very scripted. But it doesn't feel like everyone was on board, which is what some people are in the comments like, is Shane on board? Was Ryan on board? Was Steven, like, is this like Steven pushing it? So when it comes to the financial influences, there does seem to be a clash about how they're making money. What is this video? It feels like there might be someone pulling more money in one direction than the others. Like, how I would word this is, you know how you have a CEO, a COO, and then like a CFO, right? Typically, at the top of the food chain, you're going to have the CEO makes the most money, then maybe the COO or the CFO, Chief Operating Officer or Chief Financial Officer. And when it comes to that, like, it's kind of like a toss-up between who makes more sometimes within those organizations. And from like a startup perspective, I'm wondering, from a startup perspective, sometimes you're going to actually be paying more for like a COO or a CFO or a Chief Financial Officer than the CEO, because the CEO might just be the founder, but you're bringing on extra talent who has maybe years of experience and brings their knowledge to help grow and expand the business. So this makes me feel like there's one person here that they brought in, and like it makes me feel that this person is a specialized individual and they require more money because they have that specialized info requirements, but words are hard right now. Has the skill, has the resume to fit what they need. So, and maybe that's with talent that they're bringing in, but we can look into it. But it definitely feels like there seems to be potentially arguments behind the scenes of how we're spending money, who is getting the money, and the such. The hopes and fears. 8 of Cups are going to have to walk away from this project, from their channel. Like I said, when they said they were like really, like they were deciding on if we have to close the doors to Watcher, looking just at this spread so far, this seems like it was potentially a thing that they got really close to. Yeah, feels like they got really, really, really close to having to walk away from the whole thing. Unseen obstacles, the 6 of Wands, where they thought this was going to be a raw moment for them, it didn't end up being. So this is all kind of just confirmation. So the challenges here is the King of Cups. So there's a King of Cups here, and I didn't look up any of the signs. I didn't look up Steven or Ryan or Shane's birthday. Actually, just give me a quick moment. I will just go look those up really quick, and then we can see maybe where this is coming from. Okay, I just looked it up because we have the internet at our hands, right? So seeing the King of Cups. Just letting everyone know. So Ryan is a Sagittarius, Shane's a Taurus, and Steven is a Scorpio. So just letting y'all know. So Scorpios are for water are known as like the water sign. Tauruses are more like an earthy or pentacles. And then Sagittarius can show up as fire or the wands energy here. So seeing this right here, so we have the King of Cups. So this is showing up as the challenge. So Steven, potentially, allegedly. However, this is also just an emotional person. So when we see the challenge here, it's like this is someone who leads with their emotions or leads with not just a passion, but leads with their feelings more often than not. So seeing the challenge in this whole situation, I want to say Steven, but I don't think it is. It doesn't feel like Steven. Is kind of what I'm picking up here, and this is why I'm gonna do also were there investors involved because it feels like in this situation, yes, Steven is known as the CEO of the company. He's the face, he's the mouthpiece for the company. Good decisions and bad decisions all around, right? So, but seeing it as a challenge here, it leads me to believe there is one person within the organization that was really pushing, one, not just for this video, but also for the push to essentially their own streaming service. There does feel like there is one individual here that's like, we need to do this, that, and the other thing to kind of move forward here because it feels like we're coming out of a place of something needs to change. We don't want to sacrifice the quality of what we're doing. So we need to supplement in other ways, and this is a decision to potentially go down. Do I think it's the best decision? No. However, when we look at Steven, I think he's born in 1990, so what, he is 33? Question mark? Potentially? Yeah, I think he's 33 at this time. He's been the CEO of Watcher for 4 years. So I worked for a CEO, and I've seen the CEO grow from baby CEO to a 4 or 5 year veteran, and of being a CEO. And within that time, he grew a lot, and he still wasn't getting it all right. He still had people that he was talking to, mentors, guides to kind of help him move the business where it needed to go. And here is what it feels like is that. Also, remember, Steven, 4 years in, of now being a CEO of a huge company, essentially going from a 3-man operation to now a 30-person operation. There's a lot of pitfalls, and there's a lot of organization and creative solutions, and sometimes you got to be the hard ass in the room, and sometimes you got to be the one who has egg on your face because someone made a decision and now you have to be the one that kind of be like, okay, that didn't work, the people didn't like us, now we gotta go back to the drawing board. So what it feels like more to me here is that there seems to be an individual in the background a little bit more kind of helping guide these decisions. Steven just feels more like a face. So the devil shows up. So in the situation of what's going for this video is that it had a really bad reaction. So I think and the bad reaction is a good thing in that it's now showing that this idea doesn't work. This won't work. I don't know if this is going to lead to Steven having to step down, which is what we're going to look at when it comes to investors or board and how that's going to go down. Because I'm having a strong inkling that this isn't just 3 people at the top making a decision, or otherwise known as more oh, what's it called? More like this feels like a corporation. Corporations, when you or incorporated, those have boards. They have uh, essentially the CEO or C-suite's bosses. So, and that's what it feels like here. And there's people that were pushing for this decision more than the faces of the company is what this feels like. Yep, because in the past, it's like the high priestess, we're coming up with different solutions. We're going to look towards the future and what can we do, what can't we do, what does our intuition say, what have we learned from in the past. It's also like we were in a pickle and now we're trying to get ourselves out of it. All right, and in the future here, the world reversed. So they're going back to their old ways, which is what they kind of said in this last YouTube video or the update video that they had. So interesting to see that here. It seems like we're going back to the old way of doing things, and they had to reevaluate or flip the ship essentially from where they were going. So not shocked there. So next we're going to get into, I think, what everyone kind of really wants to see, and that is what's going on, or like what was everyone's feelings about this video decision between Steven, Ryan, and Shane. And then let's look at the dynamic between all three of them, and then looking at the dynamic between the individuals. So I'm very intrigued to kind of see where this is going, as there's a lot of people, or what kind of pops up as there's a lot of people who are like, knowing Shane, like with the eat the rich mentality, it's been promoted on their videos and everything, that it's like, does Shane actually like go along with this, like, or is like this is this like a Steven's decision, is this a Ryan decision? So let's just take a look here at what's going on. So let's take a look at Steven, the Three of Swords reversed. Interesting. Then we're going to have Steven. We're going to have Ryan, which is the Tower reversed. Interesting. Because this is how they're feeling. Like, this is like their energy kind of being like about this move or about going to this streaming service. Then we're going to look at Shane. Interesting here. Did not expect that to pop out for him. Okay, so let's just take a look at the energy between all three of them. I'm going to try and get this. The Three of Pentacles between Shane and Steven, between Shane and Ryan, between Ryan and Steven. Okay. So, I'm going to try and do my best to organize this. So, when I say this decision, this video was made out of this feels like a fear decision, to be 100% honest. It's a fear decision. With Three of Swords here with Steven and the Tower reversed as Ryan, I'm not sure who's in charge of the finances or who's got a more close relation on the finances, but when I see Ryan and Steven showing up as two cards that are like disaster avoided cards, like I'm saying they were really close to having to not knowing how they were paying their employees at the end of the month. Allegedly conspiracy, whatever. Because looking at Steven first, Three of Swords reversed, it's healing of a heartbreak. So when it comes, when I see this and it's like, okay, we almost had to let go of a ton of people. We almost weren't sure how we were paying our bills this month. It's very much like, okay, we're going to do this new service. We're going to get more money in so we can actually pay the bills, and we don't need to worry too much about how we are keeping the lights on, everyone paid, keeping ourselves paid. Like, this feels like he is like disaster avoided, we got through that month, but we need to change now. Otherwise, we're not sure how we're paying people in 3 months from now. So I'm wondering here, so when you look at so when a company is like forecasting or budgeting, they call it a runway. So when you get money in, you have like your pool of money that you'll get from like investors or from the money that you're making from your your investments or the content you're putting out in this case. And so you get that amount of money in. You know you have your set budget of like how much each month it's going to cost. You have like your overhead cost, you have your just your regular cost, and then you have like your talent cost or essentially personnel cost. So you see that and you know how much you need to make each month to pay everything, right? So what it feels like to me in this case is I'm wondering if maybe like 3 months ago they're like, we only have enough runway, which is the amount of time, like this amount of months, we only have enough money to keep the doors open for like 2 or 3 months, and they were like coming up to the deadline, and it's like, what do you mean? Like, it feels like a project got stifled, or some sort of income got stifled, or a brand deal got stifled in some way, shape, or form. So they had to be like, shit, our runway just got exponentially shorter. We don't know how we're paying people at the end of the month. And it's like, since now so they were, it feels like someone came in and helped them out, so extended their runway a little bit, maybe to like, instead of like 3 months, 6 months. So in that time, they're like, okay, we got to change things up, and now we're going to move forward. Because with Ryan over here is we have the tower reverse. It's like disaster avoided. So that's why they're going towards this model, because it's like, they had legit issues. When they say they had legit issues, I 100% believe they did not. There were some months, or maybe just recently, they were like, we don't know how we're paying people this month, because something, it feel like, fell through. Shane up here is the Knight of Pentacles as well. So I don't know how much he is involved with the finances side of things, but it feels like, in my opinion, he said it feels like this is a good direction to go in. This is like, it feels like he's looking at it more long term than in more of in like, we need to do this because we're avoiding a disaster. It's like, we're doing this more in this is our long-term plan, long-term goal type of way. So like I said, and he's kind of like on this, we have the sun up here, it's like he's on this like, okay, this is a slow, steady journey. Okay. So Ryan and Steven are coming at this from like, disaster avoided, we now need to put something new together. Shane up here more is along the lines of, we're moving the company forward in a good progression forward. It might be slow moving, but it's a good long-term financial decision, it feels like. All right, so now going into the dynamics between all of them. So looking at Shane and Steven, I don't know how much these two actually get along. I feel like there's very differing opinions on how they deal with, on how they do business, on how people are treated. Because with the Four of Wands here, what this is reminding me of is like HR. So in my startup, in one of the startups that I worked for, I had a really, really great HR person who had like years of experience working in operations and HR with talent organizations. And seeing this reversed here, it's like there's differing opinions on how we operate. It's like, I think these two butt heads on the operations of the business, and I think it's more related to talent pools. Yeah, either talent pool, because with the Four of Wands, it's reminding me of home, family, stability, and seeing it reverse, it's like we're unstable, and it's leading me towards like HR or the talent pool. Like, who are we bringing in to help fill out our roster. I think there's... And remember, this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only, but I also wonder if they just hired someone that Shane didn't approve of. Shane didn't want this candidate, but Steven and or Ryan wanted them, but it wasn't Shane's first choice. And there feels like there might be like a little bit of a grudge there. Okay, now looking between Ryan and Shane, we have the Emperor upright. So they have a really good relationship. I mean, they are kind of like the face or the talent for Watcher. A lot of people watch Watcher because of them, because of their dynamic, how well they banter back and forth. Their relationship is really strong, definitely seeing with the Emperor here. And it's not just like, it comes from a place of like equals, respect. They feel like they're on the same page quite a bit with each other. I also feel like Ryan, in my opinion here, is also like the go-between between Shane and Steven. Because it feels like and that's what it feels like, is like Shane will go to Ryan for stuff because he doesn't agree with something, and then he's like, it's okay, like, we'll figure it out, we'll talk to Steven, yada yada yada. So like that's what it feels like here. It's like Shane will sometimes not agree with things Steven's going with, so he goes and he tells Ryan, and then Ryan's like, okay, I gotta go fix this problem. It's like, okay, gotta go fix another disaster to avoid it. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling there. But otherwise, their relationship is really strong. I think they have pretty similar ideals for the most part. And they have a really good working relationship. All right, looking between Steven and Ryan, we have the Two of Swords. So there's Ryan and Steven are the decision makers, I believe, more at Watcher, in my humble opinion here. They are the decision makers. They're the ones who are the movers, the shakers, the ones where it's like, okay, this is how we're paying people, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it. They are the business people behind, or they're the main operations people of Watcher, it really feels like. I don't know if they have like titles or anything there, but if they would, Steven's the CEO, which I know, but it feels like Ryan is like the, what is it? They call it the Chief Creative Officer, I believe. So like CCO. And that's what Ryan feels like. It's like he's the end all be all to decisions when it comes to creative projects with Watcher. What TV shows get greenlit? What TV shows don't get greenlit? He feels like he kind of sets the tone for Watcher, what we're doing, how we're doing it, how are we tying it all together. And he's like the go-between with Shane, who is more, it feels like in this case, talent, like high-profile talent, it feels like a lot of the time. And I wonder if where Ryan's like the creative director, Shane is more like I'm like the producer on set, or I'm the one who's kind of putting it all together. It's like, you have the vision, like Ryan sets the vision, Shane's the one who implements the vision, is how I would see that. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all can tell me in the comments down below. I haven't looked at their website to figure out if any of this is true, but that's what I would believe, kind of looking at this spread and what I'm just picking up. So, like I said, Ryan and Steven are like the decision makers. And then between all three of them, this is still a business venture. They still all do get along really well, and like they've made money. They've put everything together. They do work very well, and when it comes to this decision to move forward, it does feel that this was a unified effort. All of them were on board with, we should move to a streaming service. Ryan and Steven came from it from a place of fear. Shane came from it in a place of, this is a good long-term goal to have. Maybe not completely on board, but definitely is like, this is a long-term goal to achieve and succeed at. Okay. That's what I got there. Okay. I hope that was interesting or answered some questions. Because it does feel like all of them were on board with this decision. So, and like I said, I do believe it got really, really bad. Like, they were not sure how they were paying people bad. So, the next thing I really wanted to look at is, because I don't think I have to look at investors now, because it's like, it does only feel like this, it's not that this idea was a bad idea, but knowing their financial, it feels like their financial strains were intense. So, what I want to look at here is, with their YouTube video, what's coming forward for them? What's going to happen? What is kind of the next thing? And what's the future for the Watcher channel as a whole as it moves forward now with their response video? They lost over 100,000 subscribers with their first video. So I want to see what does this look like now moving forward for Watcher with their new and improved way of making money, or essentially going back on what they're doing on their initial response and figuring out what are they going to do forward. So, okay, let's just look at the general energy. The King of Cups reversed. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we have the King of Cups reversed. Yeah, that goes right there. King of Cups, which an emotionally unavailable person, or in this case, I'm like step down. I hear step down. There's the Knight of Pentacles, the direct influence on this, which was showing up as Shane. You saw me shuffle. Financial influences, Queen of Pentacles, reversed. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hopes and fears, the Five of Wands, reversed. Unseen obstacles, the Two of Swords. Y'all saw me shuffle. Oh, no, no, no. Challenge, they backstab their audience. What's going for this situation? They've had to slow down and really reevaluate their business model. In the past, they thought that this was going to fly and do very, very well. In the future, the Five of Cups reversed. So, in the center of all of this, we have Stephen, or the King of Cups. So, what I'm seeing here is this decision is going to cause a lot of strife in between, it feels like, in between the members of Watcher, or the owners of Watcher. There's, in this direct influence here, we have the Knight of Pentacles reversed, otherwise kind of known as Shane. Shane, in my opinion here, him and Steven, it feels like, are going back and forth. Where I said before, like, Ryan kind of acted as the go-between, I don't think he's acting as the go-between here anymore. All alleged entertainment purposes only. I do not know how well these two get along, and I don't know how well they're going to get along moving forward. With the Queen of Pentacles here, there is going to be a loss of finances for them. They've lost some trust in sponsorships, ads, and their audience. So this was a really bad, like, yes, it was a bad business move, but it does, they shot themselves in the foot, and it's still bleeding because they only have a little itty bitty like band-aid on it, and it needs like a doctor. So, and then also here with the Five of Wands reversed, with the hopes and fears, is like they want harmony. The hope is that we can create a harmonious balance. People can stop fighting, but also in the same breath, it's like we're afraid that this we're still gonna fight. Like I said, there does seem to be some issues behind the scenes when it comes to, there are individuals who are just butting heads on decisions moving forward, business decisions. How are we moving money around? What are we spending money on, and what aren't we spending money on? Because that's what the Queen of Pentacles, which is like, we're losing finances, we're losing things, we're people don't want to work with us right now. And just seeing that, there is going to be, I think someone's stepping down or going to move away from Watcher here, is what it feels like, because the unseen obstacle here is like, this is a decision that's been made for you. So I don't know if there's like a board of CE, if there's like a board or their investors are being like, y'all screwed up. Y'all screwed up big time. Heads are rolling. And that's what it feels like. It's like heads are rolling behind the scenes. Because it's like, this is like, because like someone needs to take accountability for this, and I'm wondering if that's going to end up being Steven, who is going to have to walk away from this, because they lost people a lot of money moving forward. Because the challenge here is this is a backstabbing and betrayal. I don't know why, but it does feel like Steven's going to be forced to either move on or step down as CEO or move to like a completely different role. This shot him in the foot really, really bad. And I think his career moving forward in Hollywood as well. Just because with this Ten of Swords, it's like, this is a backstabbing and betrayal. And you weren't gonna convince me that heads aren't, someone who's put a lot of money into this is wanting someone's got to take the fall for this. Who was behind this? What's going on? Why am I not getting my money back? Where are my returns? So I think there are heads. Someone's on the lookout for someone to blame, because someone needs to take accountability for this, and I do believe it's going to fall on Steven. What's going for them, though, is this Eight of Wands reversed, which is really slowing down. Excuse me. We're slowing down. Things aren't moving forward. And why that's going for them is that they're able to reevaluate, adjust, and they're slowing their roll. So I'm not sure if they had like really aggressive expansion plans for the upcoming year that they wanted to hit. So say we have budgeted by the end of 2024, they wanted to have, I don't know, 50 employees, and they had the next like 5 hires kind of set up that they wanted to hire. So say they wanted to hire an international casting person, like an international coordinator. They wanted to hire a Spanish or like a French translator who was doing all of their subbing and interacting with all of their content and those such languages. They wanted to get another associate producer, and then they wanted to get maybe another editor by the end of this year. So then instead of being at 30 individuals, they would be at 35 individuals. So what it feels like is like, actually, no, halt that. No more hiring. Freeze on hiring. We are now, because we need to maintain the status quo, we're now halting all freezing plans, or halting all hiring plans. We're halting all orders of like money. Things that were budgeted, that you thought were budgeted, like, sorry, you're going to have to now go through the CFO, and we're going to be approving only necessary items, instead of maybe things that are nice to have, only things that we need to have. So it feels like everything's tightening up. This is all that slowing down process. As someone who worked for a startup, when money gets tight, only necessary things are going to be bought, only necessary things are going to be purchased. Things are going to get frozen. I mean, I went through this with my company where we were going through a time where we had a really aggressive hiring plan for a year. We started off with what I think it was 15 employees that year, and the goal by the end of the year, when making sure that the funding was coming in, they wanted to be at 50. They wanted to be at 50 employees, so they wanted to double the over double the workforce, almost triple the workforce within the year, but it was all dependent on getting the necessary funding to do so, right? Or having the resources to do so, that growth, right? In our case, we ended up being not able to hit that investment target date. We kind of had to push it out because results weren't coming in or progress wasn't being made on the technology. As I worked hard tech startup, so the progress on the technology wasn't being hit, the milestones weren't being hit, so it's like we can't, until those milestones are met, we can't get investment, we can't get money to come in. So all these plans that we had for the year, until we hit those milestones, we aren't getting that extra help. We just need to buckle down and get what we need to get done, because that's the startup life. And that's what it kind of feels like is happening here now. Also going here with the Five of Cups reversed as the future. Someone is stepping down. Someone is leaving Watcher, probably within the next 6 months is going to be my guess. Because honestly, I'm just seeing that someone's getting thrown under the bus. Someone has to take the fall to kind of right the ship again. And in this case, sadly, I do think it's going to be Steven. I think Steven is going to end up being the fall guy for this major blunder, and then they're going to be like, okay, he's gone now, or he's stepping down as CEO, and then they're going to put someone else in place to help maybe manage it better, or in that sense. So that's what I'm feeling here for that. I'm going to do one last thing, and that is what's the most likely dynamic here for Watcher, but just between Ryan, Shane, and because I should say, how is everyone feeling now? Ryan, Steven, Ryan, Shane. How's everyone feeling now with the response that they got? One that got the response, and then now the response they got, and how they're feeling, and just how they're feeling now. Okay. And like I said, all alleged for entertainment purposes only. No facts here. And if you guys have any questions about some of the terminology I'm using, because like I said, I worked for a startup, and I would say Watcher is still a startup in startup terms. They're kind of going through what some would call the Valley of Death. If you want to look that up, go ahead. But what the Valley of Death is that you have this great idea, and you've moved it you've got funding, you've started putting it all together, you've hired some people, and now you're getting to the point of either you need to get funding, or something needs to explode in monetary sense to help bolster the expansive growth needed to essentially scale your product, or in this case, scale your company to produce more things. Maybe, I don't know, I highly doubt Ryan and or Shane would watch my videos, or Steven, but like one thing I would really, really suggest to them would be, yes, they're going to diversify their income, but also when it comes to their production company and their quality of content, especially in the LA space, I would not doubt, like, if they could do some really good consulting work for other companies in that space, whether that's helping them with production quality or production tips. If they have open sets, renting those open sets or things out, so people come in, they're using the open sets or open spots they set their stuff up, they do their filming for maybe like a week where you guys aren't needing it because you're out of, I don't know, because they're out of town doing different production quality or stuff, and renting that out so you have an extra source of income coming in. There's creative solutions, especially in the LA scene. Okay, so let's just take a look at where the guys are now, kind of post video going up. So we have Steven, Seven of Wands. He's really having to defend himself. I mean, he has been getting flamed in the comment section, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Tumblr, any social media platform, essentially. And I even believe on their Patreon. There's a lot of people who are blaming Steven Lim for this whole debacle. And I don't believe it's all him. It feels like he's the mouthpiece for what they all thought, because they were coming out of a place of terror or uncertainty or desperation. Okay, let's look at Ryan. Ryan's the Temperance card upright, so balance. So he thinks balance has been kind of struck now. So it's like we have the best of both worlds. People are happy. People are still in love with us. We're maintaining our YouTube audience again, or maybe we're getting more money in, and the scales are being balanced back out. So like the initial reaction, and now it's turning into, okay, we are just moving forward with things. We're just doing things maybe a little bit differently, and but we're still balancing the two different parts of what we're doing, and we're still getting money through the door. Then we'll look at Shane, the World upright. This is the ending of a cycle and the beginning of something new. So, like I said before, I believe they were all on board with this decision to move their content off YouTube. Steven's just getting flamed for it because he's the face, he's the voice of Watcher. He's also the odd man out between Ryan and Shane when it comes to talent. So, with this Temperance card with Ryan still showing up, again, he's feeling pretty balanced with the whole decision. People aren't coming for him, it feels like, at all, and he's pretty harmonious and in a blissful state. Shane sees this as like, okay, so we have a brand new start. We have a brand new start. We ended this old way of doing things. Now we're starting something new, but we aren't staying essentially on the hamster wheel and just turning and turning and turning and turning and turning and turning, expecting to go somewhere. It's like, no, we're actually got off the hamster wheel and we're able to now walk forward. Okay, so what other information can we get? Justice, Two of Wands, and the Seven of Swords. Remember, all alleged for entertainment purposes only. So, I'm just going to say that I just pulled some other information on these three. And so, Steven over here, yes, is defending himself. He's getting his day. Like I said, I still think he's going to end up, because he's the mouthpiece, because I think he was kind of a proponent of this change. Justice is coming for him in whatever way that takes form. Also, with this Page of Cups reverse, though, is, like I said, I think he might end up having to step down, because it's like, I'm having to defend myself, and I think he might end up saying something or replying to someone in a not kind way, and people aren't going to take that very well, and people are going to take him to the cleaners with the Justice card. It's like, you did this, you said that, and his justice is coming. There's some stuff probably coming out about him as well. I mean, I've seen some people who have been like compiling tweets or articles or quotes that he has had, and I don't know how much longer Steven's going to be a part of Watcher as the face or CEO. Looking at Ryan, though, over here, we also have him for the Two of Wands reversed and the Queen of Swords. I'm really afraid that Ryan's going to say something that he shouldn't to someone and he doesn't see that there's a camera there, or because it feels like he's saying something out of turn or out of pocket. Someone gets a video of it, and it goes online. I would just, for him, I would hold my tongue, because it's like, the Two of Wands is like, what I thought I want, like, what I thought this was going to be didn't turn out. I've had to redirect or reprioritize everything. Ryan, I don't think's happy that they had to walk back on this. I think if it was up to him, they would not have walked back on this. He has some pretty strong opinions on this as well. Then we have Shane over here, which is like, I'm getting away, Seven of Swords, I'm running away, or I'm getting away with something. And then we have the Page of Swords, speaking up, saying my truth upright. With Shane, it's a little bit different in that I do believe that, is Shane gonna end up stepping up to be the CEO? No. What I do see, though, here is, like I said before, I think that there's some tension between Steven and there's some tension between Steven and Shane. I do believe that's still there, and I'm wondering if like there's like discussions of like, I don't like where this is going, like but I'm also getting away with stuff. I'm just gonna get a little bit more information here on Shane. Yeah, so we have the Dolphin for him, and we have Fire. There's also a potential here for Shane to maybe step away and follow more of his passions on what he wants to do. Yeah. Because like for him, it's like, I want to get away from this. And I think for him, like I don't know if he wants to leave, but there does feel like there is some sort of, he's saying something and he's able to get away with it. Like, for him, it feels like he's getting away scot-free in this whole debacle, even though he was also, in my opinion, on board with it. Like I said, all three were on board. Ryan and Steven just came from it out of a place of desperation. Shane just saw this as a good long-term goal, or a good long-term financial decision. So, that's what I'm seeing here for these three. And Watcher, if you guys enjoyed this or want to know more or have other questions that you would like answered, let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, thank you everyone who has either liked, subscribed, shared, or just engaged with this video. I appreciate it, as it helps the channel grow and more people seeing eyes on my stuff. So yeah. So without further ado, I really just want to thank you so very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!